Hello friends, welcome to English Minds. Today we will discussing on William Shakespeare's top 250 MCQs series. This comprehensive collection of 250 MCQs questions covers all facts of William Shakespeare's life, works, themes, characters and literary contributions. Ideal for exam preparation, this guide provides a deep dive into the Bard's legacy, helping students grasp the essence of Shakespearean drama and poetry. Let's begin without wasting time. In which year was Shakespeare born? Option A 1564. William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in Stratford upon Avon. Where was William Shakespeare born? Option B Stratford upon Avon. Shakespeare was born in Stratford upon Avon, a town in Warwickshire, England. Who was Shakespeare's father? Option B John Shakespeare. John Shakespeare's father was a globe maker and an alderman in Stratford upon Avon. Who was Shakespeare's wife? Option A Anne Hathaway. Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway in 1582. When he was 18 years old. How many children did Shakespeare have? Option B 3. Shakespeare had three children, Susanna and twins, Hamlet and Judith. When did Shakespeare die? Option A 1616. Holy Shakespeare died on April 23rd, 1660, in Stratford upon Avon. Where is Shakespeare buried? Option B Holy Trinity Church. Shakespeare is buried at Holy Trinity Church in Stratford upon Avon, where he was baptized. What was the name of the theatre associated with Shakespeare? Option B The Globe. The Globe Theatre, where many of Shakespeare's plays were performed, it was built in 1599. What was the original name of Shakespeare's acting company? Option B Lord Chamberlain's Men. The acting company was originally known as Lord Chamberlain's Men and was later renamed the King's Men after James I became king. James I became kings. During which monarchy reign did Shakespeare primarily write? Option B Elizabeth I. Shakespeare wrote the majority of his plays during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, though he continued under the reign of James I. How many plays did Shakespeare write? Option A 37. Shakespeare wrote 37 plays, which include tragedies, comedies, and stories. What is the shortest play by Shakespeare? Option D. The Comedy of Errors. The Comedy of Errors is the shortest play written by Shakespeare. Which play features the character of Shylock? Option B. The Merchant of Venice. Shylock is a prominent character in The Merchant of Venice, a Jewish moneylender. Which play contains the line to be or not to be? Option B. Hamlet. To be or not to be is a famous soliloquy from Shakespeare's Hamlet. Who is the protagonist of The Tempest? Option A. Prospero. Prospero, the Duke of Milan, is the protagonist in Shakespeare's final play, The Tempest. In which play does the character of Malvolio appear? Option A. Twelfth Night. Malvolio is a key character in Twelfth Night, a comedic play by Shakespeare. What is the subtitle of Twelfth Night? Option A. What You Will. The full title of Twelfth Night is What Twelfth Night or What You Will. Which historical play features the Battle of Agincourt? Option B. Henry V, where King Henry V leads his troops to victory. What is name what is the name of the ghost in Hamlet? Option B. Hamlet's father. The ghost in Hamlet is that of Hamlet's father, who tells Hamlet to avenge his murder. Who kills Julius Caesar in Julius Caesar? Option A. Brutus. In Julius Caesar, Brutus, one of Caesar's closest allies, participates in his assassination. How many sonnets did Shakespeare write? Option B. 154. Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets, which were first published in 1609. What is the main theme of Sonnet 18? Option B. Immortality. Sonnet 18 discusses the immortality of the beloved through poetry. Which poem by Shakespeare is dedicated to the Earl of Southampton? Option A. Venus and Adonis. Venus and Adonis is one of the too long dedicated to the Earl of Southampton. In which sonnet does Shakespeare mention the Dark Lady? Option A. 130. The Dark Lady is mentioned in several of Shakespeare's sonnets, including Sonnet 130. What is the rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet? Option A. AABB, CDCD, EFEFGG. How many tragedies did Shakespeare write? Option A. Option B 12. Shakespeare is generally credited with writing 12 tragedies, including Hamlet, Macbeth, and King Lear, Othello. Which is considered Shakespeare's first tragedy? Option A Titus Andronicus. Sorry. Option B Titus Andronicus. Titus Andronicus is considered Shakespeare's first tragedy, known for its intense violence and dramatic themes. What is the fatal flaw of Hamlet in Hamlet? Option C. Indecision. Hamlet's tragic flaw is his indecision and delay in avenging his father's death, which ultimately leads to his demise. In Macbeth, who proposes Macbeth's rise to power? Option B A. Three witches. The three witches in Macbeth predict his rise to power, which triggers the event leading to his downfall. Which character is known for the line out out deep candle? Option B Macbeth. The line is spoken by Macbeth in Act 5, reflecting his despair and realization about the futility of life, not fertility of life. Act 5. What is the primary cause of King Lear's downfall? Option A His blindness to loyalty. King Lear failed to recognize the loyalty of his daughter Cordelia, choosing instead to favor the false flattery of Gondril and Regan, leading to his downfall. Gondril, Regan, flattered, Cordelia, honest. Who is the loyal daughter of King Lear? Cordelia. Cordelia is Lear's loyal daughter who remains true to him despite being disinherited for refusing to flatter him. In Othello, who manipulates Othello in doubting Desdemona? Option A Iago. Iago, Othello's ensign, manipulates Othello into believing his wife Desdemona has been unfaithful. What does the handkerchief symbolize in Othello? Option C Betrayal. The handkerchief in Othello symbolizes both the trust Othello places in Desdemona and the betrayal he perceives, leading to tragic consequences. In Julius Caesar, who delivers the famous funeral speech that begins from with friends, Roman countrymen, lend me your ears. Option B Brutus. Option C Antony. Option C Antony. Mark Antony delivers this speech in Julius Caesar, turning the public against the conspirators who assassinated Caesar. Act 3, Scene 2. What is the setting of Hamlet? Option B. Denmark. Hamlet, Denmark. Who is the Prince of Denmark in Hamlet? Option C. Hamlet. Hamlet is the Prince of Denmark who seeks revenge for the murder of his father, King Hamlet. In Macbeth, who murders King Duncan? Option A. Macbeth. Macbeth, spurred by his wife, Lady Macbeth murders King Duncan to fulfill his ambition of becoming king. What title is bestowed on Macbeth after his victory in battle? Option B. Thane of Cawdor. Macbeth is granted the title of Thane of Cawdor after his victory in battle, which sets in motion his eventual rise to power. Which tragedy features the storm scene as a symbol of chaos and inner turmoil? Options B. King Lear. The storm scene in King Lear represent the internal turmoil of Lear's mind and the chaos in his kingdom. Who kills Cordelia in King Lear? Option C. Edmund. Edmund orders the death of Cordelia, which is one of the key tragic moments in the play. In Othello, who is Iago's wife? Option A. Emilia. Emilia is Iago's wife and she plays a crucial role in exposing his manipulation and lies. Which Roman tragedy depicts the assassination of Julius Caesar? Option C. Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar centers around the assassination of Caesar by Brutus and the aftermath of his conspiracy. What does Cleopatra use to kill herself in Antony and Cleopatra? Option C. Asp, snake. Cleopatra kills herself by allowing an asp, a venomous snake, to bite her after her defeat in battle. Who says the line "It to brute" in Julius Caesar? Option B. Caesar. "It to brute and you brutes" is spoken by Julius Caesar as he is betrayed by his close friend Brutus during his assassination. Which tragedy is set in ancient Rome and Egypt? Option B. Antony and Cleopatra. Antony and Cleopatra is set in the historical context of ancient Rome and Egypt, focusing on the relationship between Mark Antony and Cleopatra. In Macbeth, what vision does Macbeth see before killing Duncan? Option C. A dagger. Macbeth sees a vision of a dagger leading him to Duncan's chamber, symbolizing his desire to kill the king and his internal conflict. Who is Desdemona's father in Othello? Option A. Brabantio. Desdemona's father is Brabantio, a Venetian nobleman. who disapproves of her marriage to Othello. What role does Fontainebleau play in Hamlet? Option C, Prince of Norway. Frontibras is the Prince of Norway whose role serves as a foil to Hamlet's character as he takes decisive action and to avenge his father. What is the primary theme of Shakespeare's tragedies? Option B, the destructive effects of human flaws. The core theme of Shakespeare's tragedies often involves the destructive effects of human flaws like ambition, jealousy, and indecision. What relation is Claudius to Hamlet? Option B, uncle. Claudius is Hamlet's uncle and become his stepfather after marrying Gertrude, Hamlet's mother, who accidentally drinks the poisoned wine in Hamlet. Option A, Gertrude. Gertrude drinks the poisoned wine intended for Hamlet, resulting in her death. How does Ophelia die in Hamlet? Option B, drowned. Ophelia drowned after falling into a stream, her death being considered accidental or suicidal. What is the name of Hamlet's best friend? Option A, Horatio. Horatio is Hamlet's loyal friend who survives to tell the story of Hamlet's tragic life. Who delivers the last line in Hamlet? Option C, Frontibras. Frontibras delivers the final lines, taking control of Denmark after the royal family's death. What is Lady Macbeth's main role in the murder of Duncan? Option A, planning it. Lady Macbeth persuades Macbeth to kill Duncan and devises the plan, though she doesn't execute it herself. Who kills Macbeth in the final act of Macbeth? Option C, Macduff. Macduff kills Macbeth in revenge for the murder of his family and to restore order to Scotland. What is the prophecy given to Banquo by the witches? Option B. His descendants will be kings. The witches predict the Banquo's lineage will inherit the throne, though Banquo himself won't become king. What is the name of Macbeth Castle? Option A, Inverness. Inverness is the castle where Macbeth murders Duncan. What unnatural event occurs after Duncan's murder? Option A, horses eat each other. This bizarre and symbolic event reflects the unnatural disruption caused by Duncan's murder. How many daughters does King Lear have? Option B, 3. Goneril, Regan, Cordelia. Which daughter refused to flatter Lear? Option C. Cordelia. Cordelia refused to flatter Lear's, leading to her disinheritance. Who is the illegitimate son of Gloucester? Option B. Edmund. Edmund is Gloucester's scheming, illegitimate son who betrays his father and brother Edgar. Who kills Regan in King Lear? Option A. Goneril. Goneril poisons Regan out of jealousy and rivalry. What disguise does Edgar adopt? Option A. Poor Tom. Edgar disguises himself as Poor Tom, a mad beggar, to evade capture and help his father. What rank does Othello hold? Option B. General. Othello is a respected general in the Venetian army. What is the name of Othello ensign? Option A. Cassio. Option B. Iago. Option B. Iago. Iago is Othello manipulative ensign who orchestrated his downfall. Where does most of Othello take place? Option B. Cyprus. The action shifts to Cyprus, where Othello is stationed to defend the island. What item does Iago use to convince Othello of Desdemona's infidelity? Option C. A handkerchief. The handkerchief, a gift from Othello to Desdemona, is used by Iago as proof of her supposed affair. Who stabs Emilia in Othello? Option A. Iago. Iago stabs Emilia after she reveals his treachery to Othello and others. Who persuades Caesar to attend the Senate on the day of his assassination? Option C. Decius. Decius convinced Caesar to disregard Calpurnia's warning and attend the Senate. What is the significance of the ideas of March in Julius Caesar? The day Caesar is assassinated. The Ides of March, 15 March, is the date of Caesar's assassination. Who dreams of Caesar's death in Julius Caesar? Option B. California. California dreams of Caesar's death and urges him to stay home. What is Brutus' justification for killing Caesar? Option C. To save Rome from tyranny. Brutus believed Caesar's ambition would lead by tyranny and kills him to protect Rome. Who forms the triumvirate after Caesar's death? Option A. Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus. Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus from the triumvirate to consolidate power after Caesar's assassination. Who is Cleopatra's chief servant? Option A. Chairman. Chairman is Cleopatra's loyal servant and confidant. Where does the climatic battle in Antony and Cleopatra take place? Option A. Actium. The Battle of Actium is decisive naval conflict in the play. How does Antony die in Antony and Cleopatra? Option B. Suicide by sword. Who brings Cleopatra's the basket containing the asp? Option C. A clown. A clown delivers the basket containing the asp which Cleopatra uses to end her life. What is Cleopatra's final wish before her death? Option A. To be buried beside Antony. Cleopatra wishes to be buried with Antony, demonstrating her love and devotion. Option C. 14. Which of these of not is not a comedy by Shakespeare? Option C. Julius Caesar. What is a common theme in Shakespeare comedies? Option B. Love and mistaken identity. Which of these plays is set in the fictional forest of Arden? Option A. As You Like It. Which Shakespeare's comedy features a group of actors preparing for a play within the play? Option B. A Midsummer Night's Dream. Who is the protagonist of Twelfth Night? Option B. Viola. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, what magical substance causes the lovers to fall in love with the wrong people? Option C. Puck's potion. In The Taming of Shrew, who is the shrew that is tamed? Option B. Katharina. What is the main setting of The Merchant of Venice? Option B. Venice. In Much Ado About Nothing, which characters are tricked into falling in love with each other? Option A. Benedict, Beatrice, and Benedict. Who disguises as a boy named Cesario in Twelfth Night? Option B. Viola. Which character in As You Like It is banished to the forest of Arden? Option A. Rosalind. Who is the clown in A Midsummer Night's Dream? Option A. Bottom. What? Who does Portia marry in The Merchant of Venice? Option A. Bassanio. In The Taming of the Shrew, who is the suitor of Bianca? Option A. Lucentio. Which Shakespeare comedy features the famous line, "All the world's a stage"? Option C. As You Like It. Option C. As You Like It. In The Merchant of Venice, who delivers the famous Quality of Mercy speech? Option B. Portia. In Much Ado About Nothing, which character is known for saying, "I do much wonder that one man, seeing how much another man is a fool when he dedicates his behavior to love"? Option A. Benedict. Which of these comedies contains the famous "The Curse of True Love Never Did Run Smooth"? Option B. A Midsummer Night's Dream. Which play has the quote, "If music be the food of love, play on"? Option B. w9i. What is the central theme of A Midsummer Night's Dream? Option B. The power of dreams and magic. Which theme is most prominent in The Merchant of Venice? Option B. Justice and mercy. What is the theme of Much Ado About Nothing? Option A. Misunderstanding and trickery. Which theme dominates Twelfth Night? Option B. Disguise and mistaken identity. What central theme is explored in As You Like It? Option D. The value of friendship. Who is the romantic couple in As You Like It? Option A. Rosalind and Orlando. Who are the lovers in Twelfth Night? Option A. Voila and Orsino. In The Merchant of Venice, who is the lover of Bassanio? Option C. Portia. Which couple in Much Ado About Nothing is tricked into confessing love for each other? Option A. Beatrice and Benedict. What does Portia marry in The Merchant of Venice? Option A. Bassanio. How many history play did Shakespeare write? Option D. 10. Which of the following is not considered as history play by Shakespeare? Option C. A Midsummer Night's Dream. The history play of Shakespeare primarily deal with which historical period? Option B. The War of Roses. Which of the following kings is not depicted in Shakespeare's history plays? Option D. King Alfred. What is a common theme in Shakespeare's history plays? Option A, the rise and the fall of monarchs. Which historical figure in is the central character in Richard III? Option C, Richard III. Which king is Henry VI's son? Henry IV's son, who eventually becomes King Henry V. Option D, Prince Hal. Which historical events forms the backdrop of Henry V? Option B, the Hundred Years' War. In Henry VI, which two families are in conflict? Option C, the Yorks and the Lancesters. Which character is Henry VI is known for saying a horse, my kingdom, for a horse? Option B, Richard III. Who is the main antagonist in Richard II? Option A, Henry Bolingbroke. In Henry V, what is the name of Henry's loyal companion who later becomes his enemy? Option A, Falstaff. In Richard II, who leads the rebellion against Richard? Option Option A, Henry Bolingbroke. In Henry VI, who is the Duke of York's chief rival? Option B, Margaret of Anjou. Who is the heroic yet flawed character in Henry IV, Part 1st? Option A, Falstaff. Falstaff. Option B, Prince Hall. Option D, Hotspur. Option B, Prince Hall. Who says, now is the winter of our discontent? Option Richard III. In Henry V, what is the famous battle of cry of the King Henry? Option B, once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more. What is Henry V's famous speech before the Battle of Agincourt? We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. In Richard III, Richard is described as what kind of animal in his famous opening soliloquy? Option C, a snake. In Henry VI, what is the significance of the line, the first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers? Option C, a statement on corruption. Shakespeare's Richard III is based on events from which war? Option C. The War of Roses. Which historical event is central to Henry IV Part 1? Option D. The rebellion of the Welsh and Scots. What historical period do we do the events of Henry V correspond to? Option B. The Hundred Years' War. Which of these events is not part of Richard II? Option D. The Battle of Bosworth Field. Which of the following historical monarchs appear in Shakespeare's history plays? Edward IV, Henry VIII, Richard II, all of the above. Option D. In Henry V, which battle is the climax of the play? Option B. The Battle of Agincourt. In Richard III, the Battle of Bosworth Field is fought between which two parties? Option C. The Yorkists and the Tudors. In Henry VI, what event signals the end of the Lancaster rule? Option C. The death of Henry VI. In Henry V, what is the significance of the Battle of Agincourt? Option B. It is a pivotal moment in the Hundred Years' War. Who defeats Richard III at the Battle of Bosworth Field? Option A. Henry Tudor. Henry VII. Shakespeare's history plays primarily depicts events from which era of English history? Option B. The Tudor dynasty. Shakespeare's history plays often focus on events leading up to and influencing the Tudor dynasty, though they are not confined to that period. Which war is commonly referred to in Shakespeare's history plays, especially Henry VI and Richard III? Option B. The Wars of the Roses. This civil war between the Yorkists and Lancastrians is a central theme in plays like Henry VI and the Richard III. Shakespeare's Richard II is set during the reign of which monarch? Option B. Richard II. The play Richard II dramatized the events of his reign, including his disposition by Henry Bolingbroke. In Henry IV, Shakespeare presents the conflict between which two houses? Option D. Leicester and York. The conflict between these two houses is a key focus in the Henry VI plays. The Wars of the Roses were fought between which two rival factions in England? Option B, the Yorkshire's and the Lancasters. The Wars of Roses were fought between these two factions, symbolized by white and red roses. Who is the central monarch in Henry VI? Option C, Henry VI. The Henry VI trilogy focuses on the reign of King Henry VI, depicting the challenge he faced. The disposition of Richard II and the subsequent rise of Henry IV is an essential theme in which Shakespearean play? Option B, Richard II. Richard II disposition by Henry Bolingbroke is a central plot of the play Richard II, who ascends the throne after the death of Henry VI in Henry VI. Option A, Henry IV. Edward IV. Edward IV takes the throne following the death of Henry VI, as depicted in the Henry VI plays. In Henry VIII, Shakespeare dramatized the reign of which historical king? Option C, Henry VIII. The play Henry VIII dramatized key events of his reign, including his break with the Catholic Church. In Richard III, what is the primary cause of Richard's ambition to become king? Option B, his claim to the throne. Richard III's ambition to become king is rooted in his claim and ruthless determination to secure power. Which battle is central to the plot of Henry V and marks a turning point in English history? Option B, the Battle of Agincourt. This is the central battle of in Henry V, where Henry delivers his famous speeches. In Henry VI Part 2, which battle marks the beginning of the downfall of the House of Lancaster? Option B, the Battle of St. Albans. This battle is depicted in as a turning point in Henry VI Part 2, marking the start of the Lancastrian downfall. What is the significance of the Battle of Bosworth field in Richard III? Option C. It marks Richard III's death and the rise of Henry Tudor. The Battle of Bosworth field ends Richard III's rule and ushers in the Tudor dynasty. In Henry V, King Henry's famous speech, once more unto the bridge, is delivered before which battle? Option B, the Battle of Agincourt. Henry's motivational speech, once more unto the bridge, is delivered during the siege leading to this battle. With significant battle is depicted in Richard II as part of the rebellion against King Richard. Option D. The Battle of Conway. The rebellion against Richard II forms part of the dramatic context in Richard II. Shakespeare's history plays often explore the nature of kingship and leadership, which of the following plays primarily explore the name of usurpation? Option B. Richard II. The play explores the usurpation of Richard II by Henry Bolingbroke. The theme of loyalty versus betrayal is explored in Richard II, who betrays King Richard in this play. Option B. Henry Bolingbroke. Bolingbroke's betrayal and rebellion lead to Richard's disposition. In Henry's fourth, Part 1, Prince Hal character is shaped by his relationship with his which historical figure? Option B. Falstaff. Falstaff's influence and eventual estrangement shape Prince Hal growth in Henry IV, Part 1, which play each the basis for Shakespeare's exploration of the rise of the Tudor dynasty. Option C. Richard III. The play depicts events culminating in the establishment of the Tudor dynasty with Henry VII. The conflict between the monarchy and the nobility is central in which of the following Shakespearean history plays? Richard II, Henry VI, Henry VIII, all of the above. Option D. These play all examine conflict between the monarchy and nobility. Who is the famous historical character known for the phrase a horse, my kingdom, for a horse? Option A. Richard III. This iconic line is spoken by Richard III in the final act of his play. In Henry IV, Part 1, who is the valiant opponent of Prince Hal and a leader of the rebels? Option A. Hotspur. Hotspur is a key rebel leader and valiant opponent of Prince Hal in Henry IV, Part 1. In character of Queen Margaret is prominently featured in which Shakespeare's play? Option A. Henry VI. Queen Margaret is a central figure in the Henry VI trilogy, known for her strength and political involvement. In Henry V, the Duke of Exeter is a loyal supporter of Henry V. What role does he play in the battle scenes? Option A. He acts as an ambassador. The Duke of Exeter neglected on behalf of Henry and Henry V, who was the real historical figure. The defeated Richard III at the Battle of Bosworth Field. Option C. Henry Tudor, Henry VII. Henry Tudor defeats Richard III at Bosworthfield, ending the Wars of the Roses. In Shakespeare's Henry VIII, what key event does the play explore that had significant religious implications? Option B. The creations of the Church of England. Henry VIII portrays the king's split from the Catholic Church to annul his marriage. In Henry VI, who is portrayed as the leader of the Catholic faction, lighting, fighting for the crown. Option B. Queen Margaret. Queen Margaret ideas leads the Lancastrian forces during Henry VI. The role of the church and clergy is central in which of the following plays? Option A. Henry VIII. The clergy and the political role of the church and critical in Henry VIII. Shakespeare's depiction of the English monarchy is influenced by which historical event? Option B. The Reformation. The Reformation influenced Shakespeare's depiction of the monarchy power and its relationship with religion. In Henry VIII, what is the primary reason for the split between Henry VIII and the Catholic Church? Option C. He desires to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. This is the primary reason for the establishment of the Church of England as dramatized in Henry VIII. In Henry V, King Henry delivers his famous speech before which important military Battle of Agincourt. King Henry delivers this speech before leading his outnumbered troops to a decisive victory. Which character in Richard II is often seen as a symbol of divine right, challenging the political instability of the time? Option A. Richard II. Richard II embodies the divine right of kings, emphasizing the sacred nature of monarchy. Who are the primary antagonists in Henry V, 6, Part 1, representing the factions of the Wars of the Roses? Option B. Then Lancaster and Yorkist. In Richard III, what motivates Richard to manipulate and kill several characters to gain the throne? Option A. Political ambition and personal gain. Richard III is driven by his desire for power and control, leading him to betray and murder. The tension between monarchy and aristocracy is a key theme in Henry IV, Part 2, especially in the character of Option A. Henry IV. As King Henry IV balanced the demand of the monarchy with the pressure from his rebellious nobles. The Battle of Agincourt, central to Henry V, was fought between England and which other nations? Option A, France. The Battle of Agincourt during the Hundred Years' War was a conflict between England and France. What of these historical figure as portrayed as a valiant leader in the Battle of Agincourt in Henry V? Option C, King Henry V. Shakespeare portrays Henry as a heroic and strategic leader in this battle. In Henry VI, Part 3, which battle results in the defeat of the Lancashire army and the death of King Henry VI? Option 8, Battle of Tewkesbury. The battle marked and the end of Lancashire resistance and King VI's death. Which battle is portrayed in Henry V as a heroic victory for King Henry and his troops despite overwhelming odds? Option B, Battle of Agincourt. Richard III culminates in the Battle of Bosworth Field, where Richard III is defeated by Option C, Henry VII. Henry Tudor defeated Richard III, ending the Wars of the Roses and establishing the Tudor dynasty. The Tudor dynasty is associated with which Shakespeare's play detailing the rise of Henry VII? Option B, Richard III. This play ends with the rise of Henry VII, founder of the Tudor dynasty. Which character in Richard II is instrumental in the overthrow of King Richard II and the rise of Henry IV? Option B, Henry Bolingbroke. The, ba- the power of struggle between Richard III and Henry VII culminates in which historical event? Option B, the Battle of Bosworth Field. The battle ended Richard III's reign as marked the start of Tudor rule. The historical conflict between the Yorkists and Lancaster is portrayed in which? Option B, Henry VI. Edward the trilogy dramatized the Yorkist and Lancashire struggle of power. Who succeeds Henry VI after the Wars of the Roses in Shakespeare's Henry VI? Option A, Edward IV. Edward IV takes the throne after the defeat of Henry VI in the Wars of Roses. In Henry VIII, what major historical event does the play addresses in relation to King Henry VIII? Option A, the English Reformation and break from the Catholic Church. Henry VIII dramatized the king's separation from Rome due to his marriage issues. How is the King Fifth portrayed in Shakespeare's play? Option C, a charismatic and inspirational leader. Henry versus the leadership unites and motivates his soldiers. In Henry IV Part 2, which monarch's health deteriorates, leaving his throne to be contested. Option A. Henry IV. Henry IV's illness and death transition power to Prince Hal, later Henry V. The central conflict in Henry VI involves which? Option C. The Lancaster and the Yorkist. In Henry V, how does Shakespeare portray the English king's relationship with his soldiers and peoples? Option B. A compassionate and understanding. Henry V is shown forging bonds with his men, exemplifying strong leadership. In Henry VIII, the separation of the Church and England from Rome is largely due to King Henry VIII's desire to option C marry Anne Boleyn. In Richard II, which religious figure play a significant role in the deposition of the king? Option A the Archbishop of Canterbury. The clergy play a critical role in the deposition of Richard II. The character of Cardinal Wolsey plays a major role in Henry VIII. What is his main role in the play? Option B an advisor to the king. Cardinal Wolsey is central to the political intrigues in Henry VIII. Henry VIII features significant political and religious themes surrounding the creations of option A the Protestant Reformation. Henry VIII addresses England's split from Rome and the Protestant ascendancy. In Henry V, VI, which religious figure is implicated in the downfall of the Lancastrian regime? Option B the Cardinal of Winchester. Henry VI Part 1 introduces the character of Joan of Arc. What is her role in the conflict? Option D she leads the French against the English. Which play dramatized the civil war between the Yorkists and the Lancasters during the reign of Henry VI. Henry VI. Option A Henry VI. The downfall of which English kings marks the final act of the Wars of Roses in Richard III. Option C Richard III. In Henry VI Part 3, the character of Queen Margaret play as a key role in option C the Lancastrian resistance against the Yorkists, who ultimately emerged victorious in Richard III, ending the Wars of the Roses and established the Tudor dynasty. Option A Henry Tudor, Henry VII. Shakespeare's narrative poems primarily include Venus and Adonis, the rape of Lucrece, and Option A. The Phoenix and the Turtle. Along with Venus and Adonis, the rape of Lucrece, the Phoenix and the Turtle is one of Shakespeare's notable narrative works. In Venus and Adonis, what is the primary theme of the poem? The unrequited love for of Venus for Adonis. Option C. The character of Venus in Venus and Adonis is depicted as option B, a passionate and desperate lover. Venus is portrayed as a fervent goddess desperately pursuing Adonis. Which classical myth is the basis of Shakespeare's Venus and Adonis? Option B, the love of Venus for Adonis. The poem is based on the classical myth of Venus and Adonis, derived from Ovid Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. What is the outcome of Venus' pursuit of Adonis and in Venus and Adonis? Option B, Adonis rejects Venus and it killed by a boar. Adonis' rejection of Venus leads to his tragic death during a boar hunt. In the rape of Lucrece, the tragedy centers around the violation of option B, Lucrece. The poem revolves up around the tragic story of Lucrece, who is violated by Tarquin. The rape of Lucrece explored the theme of option C, the consequences of dishonor and rape. The poem examines the personal and societal aftermath of Lucrece's violation. How does the poem The Rape of Lucrece end? Lucrece kills herself to preserve her honor. Overwhelmed by shame, Lucrece takes her own life after narrating her story. In The Rape of Lucrece, the character of Tarquin symbolizes the destructive force of unchecked power and lust. Tarquin's actions symbolize the abuse of power and the consequences of uncontrolled desire. The narrative style in each Shakespeare's narrative poems is generally option B, tragic and reflective. Both poems are deeply tragic and explore profound emotional and moral themes. What type of meter in is predominantly used in Shakespeare's narrative poems Venus and Adonis and the Rape of Lucrece? Option B, rhymed couplet. Both poems use iambic pentameter. In rhymed couplet, known as heroic couplet. Which of the following is a major stylistic features of Shakespeare's Venus and Adonis? sensuous description and vivid imagery. Shakespeare employs rich imagery to evoke instance, emotion, and setting in Venus and Adonis. Which Roman figure is central to the narrative of the rape of Lucrece? Option C. Tarquin. Tarquin, a Roman prince, commits the heinous act that leads to the tragedy in the rape of Lucrece. Venus and Adonis has been interpreted as an allegory of the dangers of uncontrolled desire. The allegory warns against the destructive potential of unchecked passions. Which of the following statement best described the relationship between Venus and Adonis in the poem? Option B. A tragic love that is unreciprocated. Venus loves Adonis deeply, but her love is not reciprocated, leading to a tragic outcome. The rape of Lucrece has been significant in English literature because it examines the psychological impact of shame and honor. The poem delves into the emotional toll of Lucrece's shame and her decision to preserve her honor. Shakespeare's narrative poems have influenced later literary work in which of the following ways? By intriguing classical mythology with English poetry. Shakespeare blends classical themes with his own poetic style, influencing later work. The character of Adonis in Venus and Adonis symbolize beauty and youthful vigor. Adonis is a symbol of ephemeral beauty and youthful vitality. The tragic ending of the rape of Lucrece serves as a commentary on the importance of persevering one's honor and dignity. Which literary movement was most influenced by Shakespeare's narrative poems? Option A. The Romantic movements. Shakespeare's sonnets were first published in Option A. 1609. Shakespeare's sonnets were first published in 1609 by Thomas Thorpe. Thomas Thorpe. How many sonnets did Shakespeare write? Option A 154. Addressing theme of time, love, beauty and morality. Which of the following is a prominent theme in Shakespeare's sonnet? Option B. Time, love and beauty. These are recurring themes in Shakespeare's sonnet explored in various contexts. Who is believed to be the Dark Lady in Shakespeare's sonnet? Option C. A mysterious unnamed woman. The Dark Lady remains unidentified, often interpreted as a symbol of enigmatic and unconventional beauty. Which of the following sonnets begins with the line, Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Option A. Sonnet 18. The iconic line, Shall I compare thee to a summer's day, is the opening line of Sonnet 18. In Sonnet 18, Shakespeare compares the beloved to option B, a summer's day. The speaker compares the beloved to a summer's day but argues that the beloved surpasses it. In Sonnet 116, Shakespeare described true love as an unwavering and constant force. Sonnet defines love as unchanging and eternal, unaffected by time or circumstances. In Sonnet 130, Shakespeare criticized the conventional comparison of a lover's beauty to option D, the sun. In Sonnet 130, Shakespeare mocks conventional poetic comparisons like eyes like the sun. Sonnet 73 reflects on the theme of the passage of time and aging. Sonnet 73 reflects on the inevitability of aging and the speaker's awareness of mortality. In Sonnet 12, Shakespeare explored the inevitability of option A, death and decay of beauty. Sonnet 12 explored the transient nature of beauty and the inevitability of death. Which line from Sonnet 18 illustrates the theme of immortality through poetry? Beauty is eternal, summer shall not fade. This line highlights the theme of immortality through poetry in Sonnet 18. Which of the following lines is from Sonnet 130? My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. This is the opening line of Sonnet 130, where Shakespeare subverts traditional poetic comparisons. The line love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, is from which sonnet? Option B, Sonnet 116. The line loves is not love which alters when it alternation finds is a defining statement in Sonnet 116. Which of these sonnets include the line, That time of year thou mayst in me behold? Option B, Sonnet 73. Reflects the theme of aging and mortality in Sonnet 73. So long as men can read or eyes can see is the concluding line of option A, Sonnet 18. The concluding couplet of Sonnet 18 ensures the beloved's immortality through verse. In Sonnet 116, Shakespeare assert that love does not change with time. Sonnet 116 assert the that true love remains constant, unaffected by the passage of time. By the passage of time. In Sonnet 29, the speaker begins by expressing a sense of deep personal despair and self-loathing. Sonnet 29 opens with the speaker expressing feeling of dejection and envy but ends on a hopeful note. In Sonnet 65, Shakespeare wonders how beauty can survive the passage of time and the of death, ravage of death. Sonnet 65 questions how beauty can withstand the destructive force of time and mortality. Sonnet 18 is often regarded as a tribute to the immortality of poetry and love. Sonnet 18 emphasizes the poetry immortalized of beloved beauty and love. Sonnet 116 presents a definition of love as strong and unchanging, unaffected by time or circumstance. Sonnet 116 defines love as eternal and steadfast, unaffected by external factors. Which literary device is primarily used in Sonnet 18? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Option A. Metaphor. The comparison of the beloved to a summer's day in Sonnet 18 is a metaphor. The metaphor of the ever fixed mark in Sonnet 116 refers to a love that is steadfast and unmovable. The ever fixed mark in Sonnet 116 symbolizes love as a guiding and unchanging force. The use of irony in Sonnet 130 is evident in Shakespeare's description of the beloved physical features and exaggerated terms. In exaggerated terms, Sonnet 130 uses irony and mock exaggerated poetic descriptions of beauty. Shakespeare's use of the word star in Sonnet 116 symbolizes the eternal nature of the love. The star in Sonnet 116 symbolizes love as a constant and guiding force. The rhetorical question in Sonnet 65, how with the range shall beauty hold up, highlights a transient nature of beauty. Option A. The rhetorical question in Sonnet 65 reflects the inevitability of beauty fading over time. I hope you like this video. This video may seem lengthy, but it is extremely useful for exams. Remember, there are no shortcuts to success. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned for more informative content and make sure to hit the bell icon to never miss an update. See you in the next video. Thank you. Keep exploring, keep learning.